right, so good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome into another exciting broadcast with us here at Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. I know we've got a lot of familiar faces in the crowd, but we've got some new classes too, some really energetic classes today. And so if you are joining us for the first time, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. Now, before I dive in with today's topic, I just want to say a special shout out, Mr. Hill, Mr. Saunders, Miss Hunt's class, Miss Heading Online, anyone else who's joining us on YouTube, let us know where you're joining from, because you guys give me so much energy. This is the best gig in the whole world. Get to bring you guys to some of the coolest science and adventure stories on planet Earth. And it is a privilege every single day. So thank you all for being such great students. Now, today we are going to my don't tell the other groups. We are going to my favorite group in the world, the Toucan Rescue Ranch, live in Costa Rica, to highlight the amazing work that they do to rescue, rehabilitate, re-release injured animals, and have animal ambassadors serve to educate kids like you about the amazing biodiversity and wildlife of one of the most special regions on planet Earth. The Central American rainforest is just an incredible conservation wonderland. And so we're going to learn from Isaac today, an educator at the ranch, all about their sloths. We're going to learn about some of the coolest animals on planet Earth. I'm not going to talk anymore. Without further ado, thank you so much for joining us today, Isaac, and take us away, man.
Hi, Jesse. Thank you. It's been always a pleasure to be part of the Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants tours. And yeah, thank you for that introduction. So yeah, my name is Isaac. I'm one of the full-time guides working here. And well, as Jesse explained, here we are in charge of rescuing, rehabilitating, and rewilding wild animals, Costa Rican wildlife. So all of the animals that we have here were rescued and are going through the rehabilitation process, or they're already stable and have to stay here because they're permanent residents, and we need to provide them with the best quality of life. Now, really quick, if you give me a sec, I'm going to switch the camera to show you one of our the most special animals that we have here. All right, there it is. Just one sec. Now I'll try to show you. So in the bucket over there, we have our lovely Helga, which is one of our most beautiful two-toe sloths. So she is pretty cute. Not every sloth is cute, to be honest. After working with them a while, you realize that, yeah, most of them are cute, but well, there are some not really. But no, Helga is not the case. She is really, really cute. Although, as you can see, sleepy. So here we have a hibiscus flower, which is what I call the equivalent of chocolate for sloths. They love hibiscus flower. However, I've noticed that they've been getting kind of like sick of it, too much chocolate. So I found out that this, what I have here in my hand, mango leaves, work better than hibiscus. So hopefully this will get her a little bit more active. I don't know if you can see her, she's moving her head, smelling the leaves. These animals have a lovely piggy nose for a reason. They have an amazing sense of smell. All right, yeah, I think she's waking up. Yeah, as I was saying, they have an amazing sense of smell. In fact, here we have rewilded, we have sent back to their natural habitats sloths completely blind, and there's no problem. They do just fine with their sense of smell. Also, their eyesight, it's not really good like their normal eyesight. They have what we call monochromatic vision. This means that they just see in black and white. And well, as sloths have this fame, this reputation of being slow, lazy, sleepy animals. And actually, these are misconceptions. Sloths are nothing like that. I know that Helga is not helping me to prove this right now. I know that she's moving slow, taking her time. But that's because that she knows the leaves and the flower, it's not going anywhere. The sloths will move slow sometimes because there's no rush. If they don't need to move fast, they're not going to move fast. However, if we give them motivation, for example, a special treat, they will move more, of course. But also, when these animals feel threatened, they will defend themselves, and they can be really, really fast. But before I get into detail, I would like to clarify one very important thing right now. There are two types of sloths. two-toed sloths and three-toed sloths. Now let me show you something. Up there, I don't know if you can see it, but those are Helga's feet, and you'll count three toes. However, she's a two-toed sloth because as you can see, the difference is on the hands, on their forelimbs, which is why I rather to call them two-finger sloth or three-finger sloth. And the difference is always on the hands. On their feet, every sloth has three toes. Okay. Now, these animals, as I was saying, will move slow sometimes. And I would like to make an emphasis on that word sometimes, because as I was saying, there's no rush. They will save their energy for when they really need it. But also, as you can see right now, Helga's enjoying some leaves. This animal's diet, it's mostly based on leaves. Occasionally, they will grab some fruits, but yeah, they eat mostly leaves. Now, leaves are everywhere in the tropical rainforest, so that's an advantage. They don't have to worry about running out of food. However, leaves won't give these animals too many calories or energy. So yeah, when you eat chocolate, you have a lot of energy and you start running everywhere and jumping. And yeah, we get like very active when we eat chocolate. Sloths, on the other hand, um, they eat leaves, and leaves are like the opposite of chocolate. They don't really give a lot of energy. So that's why they will save their energy for when they really need it, because they don't have a lot of energy to spend. But I insist, if these animals want to move fast, yeah, they can be really, really fast. Now, leaves are not easy to digest. Um, these animals actually have bacteria inside their stomach that helps them to digest leaves. Now, those are good bacteria. Even humans, we have bacteria too that helps us to digest certain things. For example, lettuce. Technically, humans, we're not capable to digest lettuce. We have bacteria, but the good ones. Those are good bacteria. They don't make you sick. They actually help you to digest. But well, these animals eat way more many leaves than us, so of course they have way more many bacteria than us, and they have a very slow metabolism. So their slow metabolism, it's one of the two reasons why sometimes they move slow. And there is slow metabolism, and the fact that it's a choice. That's why sometimes they will move slow. So yeah, slow metabolism means that they digest very slow. To give you an idea on how slow they digest, these animals will go to the bathroom, they will defecate once per week. So yeah, it takes up to a week, the whole week, to digest just one single meal. And yeah, actually, we need to wake these animals after they defecate, after they go to the bathroom, because that's the real weight. A whole week without going to the bathroom will give you a lot of extra weight. So that's why we need to wake them after they poop. Now, this is a very interesting behavior that sloths have, and that it's a mystery. We don't really know how to explain this. Sloths go all the way down to the ground to defecate. So yeah, they live up high on trees. They spend most of their life on trees, but still they descend to go to the bathroom. So yeah, this is pretty weird because first of all, they will have to spend energy descending. As I was saying before, that's a luxury for sloths. But also, in theory, they are more vulnerable to predators on the ground. So yeah, it makes no sense. It's a very odd behavior that they have. And as I was saying, we don't really have an explanation yet. There are several hypotheses, um, but yeah, none has been 100% proven yet. Also, I call these animals a walking ecosystem. In their fur, they're very furry animals. In their fur, you'll find lots of different organisms dueling. Let's say algae, and also some bugs like moths, beetles, mites. Yeah, they provide shelter to lots of different organisms. So actually, algae is what gives them a greenish coloration. If you see a sloth in the wild, or if you look pictures of sloths in the wild, you'll see that they look a bit greenish, and that's because of the algae. So one hypothesis, one idea that explains why they defecate on the ground, it's related to the animals that lives in their fur and the algae. So there's this hypothesis that says that sloths eat the algae that grows in their fur, and the moths that lives in their fur fertilizes the algae. So the sloth gets a benefit from the moth. So yeah, technically, uh, moths will be like the farmers of sloths. They will provide them with the algae. And this same hypothesis says that sloths go all the way down to the ground and defecate on the ground, so the moth can lay its eggs on the feces, which is the only way they can lay eggs. Um, so that's the benefit the moth gets from the sloth. However, I insist this is a hypothesis, just an idea. Um, it's nothing that has been proven yet. But yeah, there are more explanations or ideas that explains why they will go to the ground to defecate. But well, now I would like to talk about one of my favorite characteristics about these animals, how aggressive they are. Because I insist, sloths are not only not slow, but very fast, highly aggressive animals, and they can be very dangerous animals. Here we are extremely careful when we need to work with them. For example, when we need to perform treatments on them at the clinic in the wildlife hospital, right? We need to be extremely careful because even though we try to help them, they don't understand that we try to help them. They actually think that we are like predators or something like that. That's how they perceive us. Okay, I think she wants to go to her bucket again. These animals don't sleep while hanging like many people think. They will lay down on branches or places where branches kind of like gather together, form some sort of natural hammock. Yeah, here I have more mango leaves. Hopefully this will call her attention again. But yeah, as I was saying, these animals can be dangerous. I don't know if you noticed, if you paid attention to their claws, they have some huge claws. And of course, they will use them to defend themselves. The self-defense position of a sloth is with their arms open, which people um, misunderstands and they think that it's like a hug or a high five. Of course, a sloth doesn't know what those things means. Sloths, they don't hug, they don't high five. That's something that just humans do. Um, but yeah, when they go with their arms open, that's to attack. They will swing with their claws, with their arms, and they could cause some serious damage, of course. But not only their claws are dangerous, their teeth too. These animals will try to bite. And let me show you something really quick. I have my phone here. Let me show you that picture. That's a picture of a sloth that was sedated, and that's why we were able to take that picture. Otherwise, we wouldn't dare to approach to those huge teeth. These animals have four teeth that are called caniniforms, very similar to the canines that carnivores have, but they're not carnivores. They have those teeth merely as self-defense. Those are ever-growing teeth, which means that their teeth never stop growing. Actually, they wear down their teeth when they're eating or open and close their mouth. They wear down their teeth with a constant touch between the upper and lower teeth. So that means that they are also sharpening their teeth. And yeah, their claws are sharp, but nothing compared to their teeth. Those things are razor sharp and could cause a pretty nasty injury. Sloths are wonderful creatures. They should be loved, but because of the right reasons. Sometimes people come here saying that sloths are their spirit animal because they're slow and lazy and sleepy, and I'm like, nah, that's just a lazy person trying to justify himself. Sloths are nothing like that. They're very, very interesting. If you think about it, sloths are unique. They're not monkeys, they are not marsupials, they're nothing like that. Sloths are sloths, and they are successful as a species. These animals are not endangered, they're not even threatened. So yeah, there are plenty of sloths out in the wild, thankfully. But well, seems like Helga doesn't want to leave her bed again, but that's okay. We have some other individuals, some other sloths. Now I'm going to move to the rescue center area. So I was on the sanctuary area. In this sanctuary, we have animals that have to stay here. They are what we call permanent residents. So, due to some reason, they have to be here. I mean, they can't be rewilded. For example, Helga, we tried to rewild her, but she used to spend a lot of time on the ground. And as I was saying, they are more vulnerable on the ground. And she used to sleep and eat on the ground. That's not a normal behavior for a sloth. So that's why it's better to keep her under our care. And well, now let me show you some very special little guys, some cuties that we have here. So Helga is an adult, but these ones here are teeny tiny babies, as you can see. We specialize working with sloths and especially baby sloths. All of the babies that we have here are orphans. So their mother unfortunately died or abandoned them. So we rescued them and we are here trying to raise them, to rehabilitate them, and to teach them how to live by themselves. We need to teach these animals how to live out in the wild. It's very important. We want them to be in the wild because that's where they belong. They belong to the forest, not in an enclosure. So yeah, that's our main goal. So yeah, when we receive these babies like newborns, we put them in the program that we have that it's called Saving Sloths Together program, and they need to go through 5 different stages before being rewilded. So those stages are preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school, and of course, finally college. So depending on the stage where they are, they will be focused on something in specific. For example, newborns that they start on preschool, the focus is just on drinking their milk and growing. Yeah, they're teeny tiny babies. We don't ask them for a lot of things. Um, then when they are in elementary school, the focus it's still on growing, drinking their milk, of course, but also they start getting a little bit more practice at climbing. As you can see here, we have this structure with branches for them to grab and start climbing, and from a very low altitude, right? Because they're still not really good at climbing. Then when they are in middle school, they start tasting more solid food. Um, Still, solids are not their main diet, but yeah, they start tasting. And when they go to high school, is when they move to a completely solid diet. So yeah, they will start eating more leaves. And the other things that we give them here, we feed these lots with veggies like green beans and carrots. So yeah, they eat their veggies. It's important for them. Um, and that's because those veggies are more nutritional than just leaves. So finally, when they go to college, we take them to our release site. So that's another property that we have that is located on the Caribbean slope of Costa Rica, near the forest, and it's more of a wild area. So sloths there will experience environmental weather changes, wild food. They will spend all day, all night outside. And of course, we are nearby, keeping an eye on them, just in case if they need us. But yeah, they're like more independent by that point.
Hard to beat that for adorable, Isaac. That is wonderful, man. Is there any other place you wanted to take us, or is it okay if I start diving in with questions soon?
So yeah, I still have more information about slots, but I think might be better to continue with questions. I don't want to bombard you with a lot of information first.
Well, we'll make sure that we cover everything. So if one of the questions
For
doesn't
sure.
cover what you wanted to share with us, well, absolutely, please do interrupt me. But I will say a huge thank you for taking us on a tour and getting to meet some of the amazing sloths as we've got our young one here munching on a leaf as we're chatting. Mr. Hill's class, I'm going to head to you guys first, 5 6s. If you want to unmute your mic and come on in. Mr. Saunders, I'm coming to you soon. Miss Hunt, you got the mic working, which is great. And our YouTube audience, please do share any questions in the chat. We're going to take as many as we can over these next few minutes. All our classes, you unmute your mics. Makes it easier when we go to Q&A. Mr. Hill, try and unmute your mic. I will come to you guys in a second. But Mr. Saunders, you guys have your camera on. So if there's anything you want to know about sloths, unmute and come on up and take us away in Edmonton, guys. Nice to have you here today. Hey, yes, come on, mute the mic. And then we can take a question together.
So, Bryce,
Hey, guys.
you can just say it.
Yeah.
Where do sloths mostly live?
Ooh, where do they live, Isaac?
That's a great question. So sloths are tropical animals. They are endemic to the Americas, so can be found just in Central and South America. And these animals, as I was saying, it mostly lives. So they will depend on forests, tropical rainforests, mostly in different kinds of habitats. And there's actually a species that is endemic to an island in Panama. So that species of sloth can be found just in that island. It's the pygmy three-fingered sloth.
Sounds adorable. Thank you for that question to kick us off. I always like geography ones. I'm going to take one quickly from YouTube, and then Miss Hunt, I'm coming for you, and you've got your camera on now, which is even better. Alyssa wants to know, if they're herbivores, why do they have these big teeth for tearing flesh? Is it only to defend themselves from predators, or why do they have such sharp teeth, Isaac?
Okay, yeah, that's another great question. So that's correct. We believe they have those teeth just to defend themselves. This species, two-toed sloths, occasionally will grab some animal protein, like birds' eggs, insects, also small vertebrates like a hatchling or a frog, but in a very opportunistic way, and it's not that common to see. So yeah, even though it might help them in those cases, I will say that it's mostly for self-defense.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to head to Bayview Elementary in Washington. If you guys have a question for us, come on up, and then Mr. Hill, I'm coming for you right after that. Hey, guys, welcome in.
Say hi.
Hi. Do you have any sloth questions you want to know?
I do. I have a question. Why are sloths so slow?
Why are they so slow, Isaac?
Well, the real question is, are they slow? Because they're not that slow, as I was saying. Yeah, sometimes they will move slow, but because they don't need to go fast. Um, it's like when we are laying down on bed and we don't have any homework to do, we like to sleep a little bit more, right? So yeah, it's the same thing for sloths. If they don't need to move fast, they're not going to move fast. But yeah, let's say if there's a predator around the area and they want to attack this sloth, of course they will move very, very fast.
Yeah, great question, guys. All right, Mr. Hill's class, Keswick, Ontario. Welcome in, guys. 5 6s, take us away.
Yes.
They're all here, but I don't have permission to put them on camera.
Yes,
But,
yes,
all right. My class has 2 questions, if we could. So it looks like some of the sloths are wearing socks, and we want to know what happened to all the mothers of these abandoned baby sloths here.
Yeah, great question, man. Thanks.
All right. So yeah, it might seem that they are wearing socks, but actually they have like hairless pads, like palms and soles. So yeah, that's why it might look like they're wearing socks, but they're not wearing socks. Also, we give them blankets. So yeah, they're cuddling among the blankets because they're really bad thermoregulating. They need some extra warmth. That's why they're also so furry. And yeah, in the case of these sloth's moms, probably she either abandoned the sloth. Unfortunately, it's something that we've been noticing that happens. Sometimes mom sloths will abandon their babies, or it also could happen that unfortunately she died because yeah, also that's something that happens in out in the wild, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like when we get that question. I appreciate that, guys. Mr. Saunders' class. Oh, we're running off. You might be at the end of your day. I'll come and check if you have a brief question before you go. Let's see.
We're grabbing our lunches really quick and coming back in.
Perfect. I'll see you guys in a sec. Miss Hunt's class. If you guys have a second question, I'll come to you. YouTubers, again, don't be shy. Chime in, please. We'd love to hear from you. But Miss Hunt, welcome back. Hey.
Okay, what do you want to say, Stella?
Why are the mother sloths give birth to the baby sloths?
Why do they?
Because they're females.
Oh, yes. So she's asking, do the mother sloths give birth to the babies, or is there male ones too?
Okay.
All right, so yeah, mom sloths are the ones in charge of giving birth to the babies. That's something pretty interesting and crazy about sloths. The mom will give birth up high on trees. So literally, the first thing a sloth does in this life is bungee jumping. It's not all of the time. Sometimes the mom will take a position where she's able to catch the baby. But yeah, sometimes they just hang from the umbilical cord. And yeah, just the moms, the females, right?
We've never had that phrase. You've never talked about that one of the programs, the bungee jumping. I like that very much. That's funny. All right, Alyssa on YouTube has a great question. And then we're going to head back to Mr. Saunders' class pouring in. Alyssa wanted to know, what are sloths' closest relatives, Isaac? Is there a sort of, dogs and wolves, anything that we can share about sloths?
For sure, yeah. Great question. Yeah, as I was saying, sloths are very unique. Sorry, they are their own thing. Um, the closest relative, which are not very close, but still the closest ones, will be anteaters and armadillos. I know that it's difficult to picture like a resemblance between them, but if you look at an X-ray, you'll see they have very similar bone structures. So yeah, those will be the closest relatives.
Yeah, there's a really weird group of creatures. So the group that includes the sloths are called the xenarthrans. It means alien joint. They're kind of a weird group that exists in South America only. There's some special creatures that exist only there, like the armadillos and anteaters that Isaac mentioned. I encourage you to check them out. They're a very neat group. All right, Mr. Saunders' class, back with lunch. We're going to come to you for another one. Mr. Hill's class, we're coming to you. Mr. Hill's class, do make sure you don't come on camera if you don't have permission, okay? That's very important, and let Mr. Hill share questions on your behalf. But I love your enthusiasm. Edmonton, though, we're coming to you first. Come on in, 5-1. Take us away. Hey.
After sloths finish college, do they stay in the forest or go to the bigger one?
Great question. Yeah.
When they finish college, what, sorry?
Oh, when they finish college, what happens? Do they go back to the forest? Do they go to a different area? Is there like a final graduation that you send them back, or what happens?
All right, got it. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we do what we call the soft release first. So we rewild them, we put them back in the forest, but near the facilities of our release site. So we are still able to keep an eye on them to see how they're doing. And if they're doing pretty well, we will take them and we do the hard release. So that's when basically we lose them really deep in a forest at some national park. And yeah, now they will be living there in the wild by themselves.
Amazing. Thanks, Mr. Saunders' class. All right, Mr. Hill, going back to Ontario, come on in 5-6s and take us away.
Hey, Ula.
Hey, yeah, I have two more students with questions. One student is asking how long the nails grow and if you need to trim them in captivity. And another student wants to know if people actually hunt these animals.
Great question.
All right. So yeah, in the case of an adult, their nails will grow up to around 5 centimeters, something like that, almost maybe a bit smaller than human fingers. And no, we don't really have to trim their nails here because they climb a lot. We need to make sure that they have branches to climb, so they wear down their fingernails naturally just while climbing. And well, thankfully, these animals are not haunted. because they don't really will give something to people. Also, it's illegal in Costa Rica. But yeah, it happens sometimes. People might think that they want to have a sloth as a pet, um, but when people realize how aggressive these animals are, and how they really are, they're not very popular pets, I will say. And yeah, sometimes, thankfully, people keeps the distance usually here.
Yeah. Fantastic question, guys. All right, we're going to do one more round together. YouTubers, feel free to chime in. This has been so much fun. I take a quick note before we do our last round of questions. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you really wanted to share with us?
All right, maybe really quick, I would like to let you know about the three-toe sloths, because I've been telling you think about two-toe sloths, not as much about the three toes, and that's because they are completely different animals. I will need another different tour to talk about three toes as well, because yeah, both the species are very different. To give you an idea, humans and chimpanzees are more closely related than two-toe sloths and three-toe sloths between them. Very different animals. Three-toe sloths, it's true, they are slower and less aggressive than these ones. The bad reputation that sloths have is mostly thanks to the three-toe sloth. Still, never trust a sloth. Even three toes could cause some serious damage to a person. So yeah, it's better to respect them. Um, but yeah, they are slower because they eat just leaves and nothing else. So their diet has less energy than two-toe sloths diet, because as I was saying, occasionally two-toe sloths will eat some fruits and some animal protein. Okay, now there are different ways to tell them apart. You don't have to count the number of fingers. For example, three-toe sloths, they have a black mask like a raccoon. Two-toes lack of it. um, Also, two-toads, they have a lovely piggy nose, as I was saying before. In the case of three-toads, their nose is smaller and black. And three-toed sloths have a tail, teeny tiny tail, very short tail. Two-toads lack of it. And yeah, there are lots of differences between them. Maybe later you can research on more differences, because yeah, I'll be here all day telling you all the differences that I know, and I don't even know them all. So yeah, very interesting animals, as I was saying.
Fantastic. Thanks, man. I'm glad we got a chance to take that in. We're going to head to Miss Hunt's class. If you guys have a final question as a group, we're going to do one more round with everybody. But you can flick on your mic and camera. There we are. Hi, Miss Hunt's class. Take us away.
Okay, go ahead.
Are some of these animals in danger? Like, are sloths in danger?
Yeah, great question.
If they're endangered, great question. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, let's see. As a tour guide, I've been asked several times the question, how come sloths exist? How come a slow and harmless animal will survive out in the wild? And that's a good thinking, a good reason. Um, a slow and harmless animal wouldn't survive in the wild. These animals not only survive, but they're successful because they're not slow or harmless. And yeah, sloths are not endangered. There are plenty of sloths out in the wild, thankfully. They're doing quite well.
Thanks, Miss Hunt's class. If you guys have to head off for math, a big thank you to you for joining today. So nice to get to share the wonder of sloths with you all. We're going to head to Mr. Saunders' class, and then Mr. Hill will wrap up with you guys in just a minute. Edmonton, take us away one more time. Hey, guys. Hi.
How long do they live?
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, I love that question. That's a great question. Yeah, how long do they live? I have no idea. If you Google it, if you look in internet, if you look the theory and the books that are very old, by the way, you will see that these animals live between 25 to 30 years. That's what most people say. But here, we don't buy it. Sure, sloths are very popular nowadays, but years ago, people used to believe that they're boring, so no one really did research on them until recent years. So yeah, I don't believe that someone has followed an entire sloth life. But also, the oldest living sloth lives in a zoo in Germany, and it's around 53 years old.
Wow.
So yeah, 25 to 30 years, I don't think so.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Mr. Saunders' class and Isaac, for the great answer. Mr. Hill, I'm coming to you in 2 seconds. We just got one on YouTube, and I always like to end with live classes at my campus. It's more fun. So, Miss Medeiros' class, Eon, hi, on Ontario. What animals hunt sloths, Isaac? Anything that's their predator?
Okay, occasionally, although rarely will happen, sloths are well respected in the wild. So yeah, let's see. First of all, they live up high on trees, so not too many predators has access to where they live. I will say that their main predator will be the harpy eagle, which is a huge eagle that we have in the tropics. And when they're on the ground, for example, when they need to go to the bathroom, um, they might get attacked by big predators like jaguars, pumas, but still, these animals will rather to go after some other prey. Sloths are a ball of fur, so they're not going to provide a lot of meat or calories.
Every time the harpy eagle gets brought up, I smile a little. When I was a boy, when I was the age of the kids in these classes, I literally had a harpy eagle poster on my wall. They're my favorite bird in the world. You should look them up. Even though they eat sloths, they're super cool in their own right. Check them out.
They're amazing.
Mr. Hill's class, we're going to wrap up with you guys with one more question. A big thank you to all our audience today. You guys are awesome. I'm going to be sending a follow-up email with more info on the Toucan Rescue Ranch when we're done. So please stay tuned for that in a minute. But Mr. Hill, come on in. Hey.
All right, thanks, Jesse. So this morning we were reading that sloths always come down to the ground to poop.
Yep.
And we were wondering if you have any insight into this, why they do that, and if they do that in captivity at your center, like in the wild.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Okay, yeah, great question. So yeah, in captivity they will do it too. Actually, they have like a specific spots, some places where they like. We have a tree that poor tree. It's the favorite tree of these sloths to poop on. But yeah, in captivity they will do it too on the ground. And there are several ideas. Before I explain one about that involves the algae and the moths that lives in their fur, but there's another one that I like more. So this one was published by a Costa Rican biologist back in March of 2020. So if we go back millions of years ago, we will see that sloths used to be giants. The biggest one had the size of a mammoth. They used to walk on the ground. They were not arboreal like the sloths that we have nowadays. Um, and yeah, this biologist says that these animals, as sloths, as they were evolving, they didn't have to change this habit of defecating on the ground, of pooping on the ground, because even though in theory they are more vulnerable on the ground, the reality is that rarely a predator will attack a sloth on the ground. As I was saying, they prefer other prey. So yeah, this guy says that they didn't need to fix something that wasn't broken.
Fantastic. Isaac, such a pleasure every time we get the chance to talk to you, man. We bring up harpy eagles, we bring up megatherium and the ancient sloths, plus, of course, get to hang out with our amazing and cute sloths you have there right at the Rescue Ranch. I'm going to encourage all our classes, check out toucanrescueranch.org. So much more to discover and learn. They do such amazing work. You can even donate as a class if you want. I think our classes have raised several $1,000s on behalf of the amazing work we do over the years. So it's always a pleasure to get to feature these awesome creatures. Isaac, as you know, what we do to wrap up every broadcast, I'm going to bring in our classes, Mr. Hill's class, Mr. Saunders' class. If you guys want to join me in saying a big thank you and farewell, you are in the broadcast. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now, guys, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks, everyone.